there's part of me that's like, how many times do I need to share this? But I recognize that like part of why I'm doing what I do is because this message is not being shared enough. Human design is not being shared enough. Reiki is not being shared enough. And that is something that I'm looking to remedy with my life, essentially. And so um, in the video, I was talking about the danger of sleeping in the same bed as your partner every night, right? And for anyone that has um, experienced sleeping in the same bed as your partner every night, it's like it's one of the how you say things about relationships that like I don't know why it's so unfamiliar. I don't know why people don't get this. Actually, I know why. It's because they're addicted to validation and they're addicted to soothing their nervous system with other people, which is not a bad thing. Like we're supposed to soothe each other with our energies and our presence, but we're not supposed to like build dependencies and reliances on each other in that way. That's not. So yeah, okay. So we have our own bedroom. My husband and I, Jenny, totally makes sense. He's absorbing my toxicness at night, exactly, and you're absorbing his. I can't sleep next to people. Only an animal can't sleep otherwise. Exactly, Alexandra. I haven't slept with people much in the last 5 years. When I do, I get brain fog. Right. Okay. So, and we might be in an echo chamber, but the one thing that I'm of is that in relationships you with shifting the dynamic, because if you don't consciously shift the dynamic will shift, and you will be upset and surprised and taken aback and knocked off of your center by the fact that it is shifting. But part of life is that when life encounters other life, it has to adapt and it has to find ways to harmonize with them. And so yeah, it's so important, I think, in the modern age especially, um to be sleeping in our own beds, right? And I say that's a Buddhist towel. Yep, that makes sense. Just gonna wipe this screen, make sure that's a little clearer. Okay, great. Um, Felicity, thank you for sharing the live. Well, anyway, guys, what's up? Grand Rising. It is morning here for me. It's 9 a.m. and I'm in Hawaii this week. We're going to be going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just like we have been for the past 2 weeks. And yeah, we're looking to, as many of you guys already know in here, we're looking to compete with the top, like the very very tippy top um of like TikTok lives, because I think that the message that we're talking about here deserves to be talked about on a wider scale and have a larger audience. And so if you guys are able to, please, not if you're driving or anything like that, but if you're able to tap the screen and we're able to jam this number up high fast as we can, we're kind of like training for a fight. You know what I mean? Like you guys over there giving the likes and the taps, you are such a huge part of why human design is going to be reaching more people, is because you are the living proof that these theories that human design is offering us there's fruit, right? That there's some kind of result at the end of these theories, because if there was not results, I would not be talking about this straight up. If I did not find results with human design, I would not be sharing it. I would definitely not be charging people money to professionally offer my advice. If we did not have results with what we were doing, quite simply, I wouldn't be championing it in this way. I would find something else to do that. And so, Jenny, thank you for sharing the live. Sharing the live helps. Liking the live helps. All of that stuff helps, because the reality is, what we're doing here is we have a small window in time, and this is actually some things that have been dawning on me. If you guys don't mind me kind of like mentally processing with y'all, verbally processing with y'all. In human design, they talk about this changing of crosses. So there's a global cross that we're going to shift into around 2027. They talk about it quite a bit actually in human design. And we're shifting from the cross of planning, which is all about infrastructure and governments and supporting your neighbor and that kind of stuff, and having a water system and General Electric, etc. It's about shifting from that to the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is much more emotional, which is much more individual, which is much more falling asleep, waking up. It's the time for sleepers to awaken. However, the time leading up to that cross up to 2027, and we're in 2024 right now, guys. So we've got 2 years left. Okay, imagine if we only had 2 years left to make people aware of their body graphs, of their human design, of their natural circuitry before everything just went dark. That's what I'm operating on, guys. And so, it's not part of the prophecy that the internet's going to blow up and that all of the infrastructure is going to fall apart. But you guys see what's happening in the world, right? You guys see what's happening? All of the wars, all of the conflict. It's the people who have established positions of power within the cross of planning that are struggling and fighting to maintain the power. They unfortunately can't, though, and I also really hope it doesn't blow up the internet. Um, but it's so important that we as human beings learn how to physically be in our bodies, understand the energetic dynamics of our auras, of our emotions, of our mind, of our awareness, etc. And we also learn how to do simple things like build things, right? Learn how to make fires, learn how to grow food. Stuff like that is so important. And while I am still sort of a amateur when it comes to growing my own food, I mean, I got tree spinach and lilikoi, and I have more than I would say the average person, thankfully. Um, that is an area. Those are all areas of like, what is it like to live like a natural life? Human design kind of, I see what it does is it drives a lot of us back towards nature and towards the land. And so, dude, we're already at 10K. This is insane. You guys, you see, you guys are feeling it, right? You guys are feeling it. And so the best thing you can do as well, and like I said, those are like really the three things, is like in the physical world, be in your body and learn how to grow food and access water and access resources. And then energetically, it's all just about like accepting your circuitry and watching how that shows up in your physical world. Because human design is not just learn all these things about yourself. It's also change your behaviors and experiment with doing things that might be unnatural for you, or how you say that may feel normal but are actually more natural for you than whatever it is you've been practicing. And for those of us that are discovering human design in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, sometimes 60s, I do sessions with people in their 50s and 60s, which is wild to me, because a lot of the people that are in their 50s and 60s that I know of, they don't want to change. They're not able to change. They're not wanting to change. And so of course they're not going to change. But again, life is constantly changing, right? Change is not a choice, but growth is definitely a choice. You can choose to grow as you change, or you can choose to let everything change around you and just be rigid and dead and stiff like a dead tree. My mom is like that, but my dad is willing to change. Right. And so the key with change naturally, right, is it's little things every day. And that's why I'm big on like making the same videos, because for me, like a morning routine is simple. It starts with an RPM. It starts with rising, pissing, meditating, drinking water, and then moving my body. That's like my that's like my morning devotional practice, is that. And it doesn't have to last long, but it sometimes does go a little bit longer than my like 5-10 minutes that I like a lot and set for it, just because it feels good. And on some days, I know I need a little bit more of that. I'm 61. I know huge changes are coming. Amazing. Yeah. And the thing is, like, no matter what the physical age of your body is, you can, and I genuinely believe that you can slow down the aging process by aligning with your body graph. I have a friend down on here. She's actually an incredible projector. So for any projectors and just in general, um, her name is the Feel Good Expert. Her name is Tangi. Some of you guys might know her, and she's like basically reversing her aging, just because of what a lot of people don't realize about their bodies is that there's a lot of, how you say, there's a lot more maintenance needed than we were taught. Tangi is awesome. Dakota Digital Cowboy, that's right. You know what I'm talking about. Tangi's great. Wonderful projector. Very sweet and wise woman. Um, but I've seen pictures of her before human design and after, and it's like she looks younger. She looks younger now, and it's because she's prioritizing her natural body, her vehicle, right, based off of her human design. And that's one thing that human design, what I love, so many things that I love about human design, but one of the things that I love about human design is it makes it very clear where you're doing things because of the external authority wants you to do it, the environment, the world around you wants to do it, that, and when you actually want to do something, right? Just followed her as a fellow projector. Thanks. Yep. She's probably my favorite projector creating content on TikTok right now. Because she's just brilliant. So how do I follow her? Under what name, please? I think if you type in the feel good expert, I think that's her tag here on TikTok, or Tangie. If you type in Tangie. Yeah, I'll post a video of hers. I'll repost a video of hers to my page. She is also on Instagram. I think she's the feel good expert there as well. The feel good expert. Because she uses human design to help us feel good, or at least a little bit better. And yeah, again, it's what's so important as well, is like, as much love as you guys are giving me, the people that are also in our camp, people like her, um champion them as well. Like, we're all on the same team. No, we're not here. At least I'm not here competing with any of these other human designers. Jonah, I don't know Jonah, but in the comments of some of my videos, if you guys want to share some of your favorite human designers, please do, because again, there's more of how you say, people doing NPC things than there are human designers. And this is something that I think is very important for the world to recognize, in terms of Jonah Dempsey. Yes, I know Jonah. Jonah's a legend. I wouldn't even call him a content creator. He's been around for quite a while. I found out about Jonah through um one of my friends, Prana. And yeah, so we just really want to again, champion each other, because the thing about competition is that I think competition is really healthy, right? To a degree. As long as the competition is, like, for instance, one of the things that I really love about competition, and I got from a book called The Gates of Fire, which is about the 300 Spartans. Anyone seen the movie 300? Just type 300 in the chat if you've seen that movie and you think it's epic. I love that movie anyway. I'm also a martial artist, so I love that kind of stuff. Um, but in the book, The Gates of Fire, there is a scene, which is 300 was based off of The Gates of Fire, by the way. Hello from New Zealand. Hello, hello. But there's a scene in the book. It's not in the movie. There's a scene where um, one of the Spartan soldiers has his, like, shield on the ground, and his lieutenant comes up and basically, like, breaks his nose, and then he makes all of the squad that this guy is a part of, he makes them do something called tree fucking, which is basically, one guy puts his shield against the tree, then everyone else lines up behind him and they push him against the tree, and their goal is to try and push the tree down. And basically, when the guy between the tree and all of his men behind him gives up, he goes to the back of the line, and the next guy does it until they get through all of the men. So all the men are smashing one guy in between a tree and like 50 other dudes. And the reason they do this is because they're training them, right, in their squads, because when they're out fighting wars, they're tending to each other. They're sharing loving words, they're inspiring each other, they're offering hope, they're tending to each other's wounds, they're helping each other. So they're crushing each other during the training to harden each other, to make each other better, because when they're fighting the enemy, that's when the switch flips. And I love it because, one of the things that I really do not like about the world today is how like soft everything has become, and how it's like we want everyone to feel included. And I don't like that, because in my opinion, that's not how the real world is. And people are trying to change that, but it's like you're not going to take a tiger and get it to stop eating other animals. You're not going to take the predators of the world and convince them to stop preying on prey. It's just not natural. So change the world. What happens if we just like live in harmony with the world? Which, that was a total like side tangent story. But anyway, we're at 20K now, which is absolutely insane. Every week that I come back to this, guys, it's like it really blows my mind how much growth happens in terms of this squad. And like I said, I want to encourage you, especially with Tangi, because she's my homie. Cody the sound healer is another incredible human being. As you guys are connecting with these creators and sharing your energy and attention, all you're trusting us to channel that energy and put it in the right place. That not only do I appreciate, but it's all of us are really like power hungry, money hungry people. Tangi, Cody, or myself. We're um and yet that is why there's so much attention and energy, I think, coming towards us, is because that's not necessarily, we don't want it for that reason. We do want it because we know the results that we're getting, and we want to be able to share them with people. And so that's pretty much my introduction. I'm definitely feeling really how you say, just like really grateful for everything that I do have, and the lifestyle that I've built for myself. Because as a reflector, like I don't know any other reflectors that live a more reflector lifestyle than me. Straight up. And is I would love to find them, because I think it'd be cool to connect with them and ask them questions. But the key is that just because my lifestyle looks one way and I'm a reflector, it doesn't mean that all the other reflectors have to live this lifestyle, right? It's the premise that no, I don't have emotional authority, by the way. um got up to answer the door, and whoop whoop, 21K. Yeah, this is crazy, guys. You guys are we're getting so good at this, y'all. We're literally we're gonna start a fire. Like in next year is when I'm projecting it's gonna happen. People are just gonna be like, okay, so like the number 5 TikTok stream in the world with 500,000 likes or 750,000 likes, he's just talking about human design. Is like, yes, exactly. Yeah. So one thing that I will say about emotional authority and lunar authority is that they are somewhat similar in a way of, emotional authority is a part of my inner authority, or at least that's the way I see it. In the sense, the authorities are here to teach us how to prioritize certain things, right? Like, emotional authority is here to teach you how to prioritize patience, processing, somatic processing, and truth. Sacral authority is here to teach you how to prioritize desire, satisfaction, and energy, sustained energy. Splenic authority is here to help teach you how to prioritize health, wellness, awareness, vitality. Um, Ego authority is here to teach you how to prioritize material goods, hierarchies, chains of command. G authority is here to teach us how to prioritize identity, direction, right? Pretty simple. Love, um, presence in the now, in the future, and in the past. Mental authority is here to teach us how to prioritize the environment, and lunar authority is essentially here to teach us how to prioritize everything all at the same time. This is my perspective. I didn't hear that from any human designer, but what human design allows us to do, right? Like if you don't have your body graph, by the way, definitely go check out my website. You can get your body graph for free, or download Neutrino Design. That's the best human design app, in my opinion. And you can get it for 25% off if you visit the link in my bio. But the whole point of human design is to teach us how to manifest our internal authority. Like our body graphs are here to help us manifest our internal authority so that our internal authority can be reflected to us via the external authority because we've manifested it. Does that make sense, guys? Right? It's like the world within becomes the world without, and then it becomes a loop, right? And so the magic of human design is really that we're given a say I did a deep dive on the neutrino design app this weekend. Kind of wish I didn't. Yeah. So it's a whole language. And again, it's like you're not going to learn everything about human design in one weekend. But what you are going to learn, or hope, is that even if you did learn everything, it's not here to change your life. You genuinely have to. Important step is the next step. The only thing that really matters in your life is how you make the next decision, because your next decision is either going to include your consideration of your strategy and authority or it's not. That's it. That's it, guys. Right? Oh, yeah, make it rain. Follow the white rabbit. Just made it rain on me. It's because I'm brushing my hair. Yeah. The chat has frozen on me. Yeah, sometimes it does that. I read my son's and he had a fixed star. That was a bad one. Yeah, so here's the thing about that, Emily. I totally get that. Human design gives zero fucks about feelings and the types of energies that we've attached to words, um, like guilt and shame and separation and etc. Um, it's here to help us accept. Human design is here to help us accept those quote unquote negative components or negative elements of life, right? So, for instance, if your son has a fixed star that, again, quote unquote, is a bad one, it's not that it's a bad one, right? It's that what a lot of people, their immediate reaction is that they push that away. And what human design is saying is if your immediate reaction is to push it away, don't. If your immediate reaction is like, oh, I really want this, bring it closer, don't. Just let it be there. Just let it be there. So what happens to you when you don't attach, right, a story or a charge to it? It's like, yeah, and in a way it is challenging us to be like, hey, look, these stories that have you've been told about yourself and these ideas that you have about yourself may not necessarily be true. Let's doubt your doubts before. It was Alphard. So I don't even actually know too much about that one. Um, but what I do know about human design is that it's specifically designed, and the language is particularly chosen because it's like, oh, you're triggered by that. Okay, great. How do you get to the point where you're genuinely not triggered? And I'm gonna show you guys something in a second here once I'm done brushing my hair, which is how to build tolerance. And so, um, if you guys are enjoying this, like Jenny is saying, please continue to tap the screen, like the live, share the live if you guys can. I was very triggered. Yeah. So it's like when you're triggered, a better word to use than triggered, in my opinion, is activated, right? Because here's the thing. Just because you're triggered, for instance, by the word like shame or demon or whatever, just because you're triggered by something doesn't necessarily mean that anybody else that sees it is going to be triggered, right? And so one of the ways that you can take accountability in your life is, instead of using the word triggered, use the word activated. Oh, I'm super activated by that. And I catch myself sometimes because I will sometimes use the word triggered, because new age world loves to use that word triggered, but triggered is a victim word, right? It's like, oh, you did something to me, right? And same thing with the exaltation and detriment, right? People might be triggered like, oh, I have my sun placement is in detriment, right? It's not that the detriments are bad and the exaltations are good. It's that when one shows up, right? When one shows up, that's just the polarization of the other. It's a this or that. Alphard warns of abrupt demise from poisoning or drowning. Right. So it's like the fear of poison or drowning. And is your son splenic? Just curious. But the these points of awareness around death, it's like most people don't even think about death until they're dying, and because of that they don't start having a relationship with their bodies until they're losing their health. They don't start having a relationship with their partner until they're losing their partner. And so there's so much, how you say, there's so much magic in being able to look at the things that we don't want to look at, right? So anyway, I just got a friend request from you, and you're brushing your hair. Dude, you have people copying you. That means you're doing something right. Yeah, I have a lot of fakes and scam accounts pretending to be me. Which, if you guys see any of those, just report them. I know they're out there, um, but if you could just please report them, because I don't like that TikTok still won't verify me even after all the hoops that I jump through with them, even though I'm live every week. Um, but the idea is that, again, going back to that concept of like triggered versus activated. Yeah, the hair is down, guys. Sorry, I had to do that. So he's sacral authority. Is that what you meant by splenic? No, no, no. So sacral authority. Okay, that makes sense. I was asking about splenic because splenic people, like I was saying, they're here to learn how to like prioritize and take care of their body. See, your hair is just calming to watch, right? So this is, and I've been growing my hair out for a long time, obviously, like over 10 years. Um, and I'm gonna have my friend just finished formulating her oils, and so I'm gonna have a hair oil to share with you guys pretty soon. Actually, let's here, I can put it on right now. Not to like turn this into a thing, um, but anyway, let's yeah, let's do one side. I don't know how much I'm supposed to use. She gave me this little bottle. Oh damn, it smells good. All right, let's just do one side, okay? Which side, left or right? I'm gonna go with this one. So it's called Halo Hair Oil, and she is not a business person. Otherwise, I would have a link. Oh my god! Whoa. Okay, that's pretty nice. I by the way, guys, I don't really like put a bunch of stuff in my hair. Oh, you have a bus too? I love I love buses. Buses are so fun. Um, yeah. Okay, that's nice. Oiled up, non-oiled up. Okay, right. Anyway, so back to the triggered conversation. triggered is triggered again is like one of those like spiritual words that it's actually you just found a way to be, how you say, be a victim but feel good about it. It's not a, to me, triggered is not a, it's not a word that a self-aware person would use, right? Because if I say I'm triggered, again, it means that you did something to me, as opposed to taking responsibility for what's happening inside me. I can say activated. So that's established. Now, when something is activating to you, or someone casts a projection on you, right? Like they say, like you're lazy, or they say that you're so scared all the time of things. And it's really like their shit. Like they're scared of things, or they have someone in their life who is scared of things. And so they're just projecting it onto you, right? If you're to be triggered by somebody's projection, you miss out on the benefit of being projected upon. Like when people project things on me, like, oh, Marco, you're like lazy, or you are, you're very inconsiderate, or something like that. I don't get triggered. I get activated. And when I get activated, I say, oh, hey, dude, I'm feeling super activated by what you just said there. I don't believe you. And the fact that I'm activated, I'm going to take a minute to look at this. And then for me, I consider the activation part of my emotional wave, and I will leave. I will leave, right? I don't necessarily have to leave the event or the thing, but I will leave the interaction and go ground myself. Right? I have to type at work, but let's get tap, 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 tap. Yeah, guys, keep tapping. Really appreciate it. We're almost at 30,000 now, which is epic. Um, And again, what's so important about the difference between um, activated and triggered, again, for me, is it all has to do with taking responsibility and being willing to look at why you're so activated with it. How do you deal with your not self theme, specifically frustration? Right. So it's like, for instance, frustration. If someone, like, if you're giving a lot of your energy to something and you feel frustrated about it, right? Let's say you're activated by that. Like the frustration is activating for you. You're giving a lot of your energy, and maybe people are not acknowledging you. One of the things that you have to consider is that perhaps you entered into that, or perhaps you're giving energy to something that you don't actually have energy to give, right? This is one of the biggest things that I see with generators is they think that they're doing something that they have energy for because it's exciting and because the people around them are exciting or excited. And unfortunately, without actually tuning into your own sacral response, you're not going to know. And when you're around other people, even when you have a defined sacral, sometimes your sacral response can be suppressed by the power of the external authority. Okay, it's not just the undefined sacral people that have issues with being suppressed. Like plenty of children grow up with defined sacrals, and their parents are like, you can't have this, you can't have that. So they learn to suppress their sacral. And the same thing happens when we're adults, or sometimes even worse, because again, we've been suppressed or projected upon that, oh, wanting that or not wanting that makes you a bad person. That's called shame. Oh, hello, my lord. Life Force Energy. This is one of my in real life brothers, guys. Life Force Energy. Please give him a follow. He posts incredible stuff. He's just an incredible human being, especially if you like Ireland and the Druids. Um, he's all tapped into that. He takes people to Scotland, right, bro? But me and Andrew have worked for years together, specifically within containers for men, um, doing retreats, doing somatic healing, Ireland. Yep. And so anyway, if you guys are stoked on the Ireland vibes or the somatic healing vibes, Andrew's definitely someone that is on point with like the death codes and things like that. So yeah, he's a wonderful person to follow as well. He's on the same team as here. Celestina Crump, projector here with splenic authority. Yes, the wizard team, exactly. So projectors with splenic authority. I have a lot of experience with splenic projectors. My partner is a splenic projector, and as I was saying, part of the splenic authority is really here to teach you how to prioritize your health. And in a way, and again, this a lot of things in human design sound harsh, but it's only because our ability to tolerate things in the external reality is very low. And so this is actually one of the things I wanted to do with you. So to avoid being so triggered, right, and to start tuning into the activations that you feel, I want to give you guys this exercise. So it's going to involve 3 points. Okay, so the first point is going to be called convergence. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your eyes and you're just going to look up and kind of towards the center. So kind of try like right here. You don't want to be lifting your eyebrows while you're doing this, and you want to be nice and relaxed, and it's just like a gentle gaze upward. Essentially, this is the antithesis of this. It's the opposite of a focused view. It's a convergence. It's showing you center. Okay. Then the second point is going to be focus on your thumb. So you hold your thumb out and you look at your nail. And now I'm focusing on the nail. Bring my nail into focus. Now, the third step is called peripheral. What you do is you look through the nail and you look into all of the areas around the nail, around your thumb, right? And you spend some time here. This is peripheral. And then you come back to convergence. So convergence, focus on the thumb, peripheral, looking at all the areas around. So now we can link our breathing to this. Inhale up to the convergence, exhale onto the focus, inhale into the peripherals, and exhale. Stay in the peripherals. We're going to stay in the peripherals for a while. Then we come back, inhale to the convergence, exhale onto the nail, focus, inhale to the peripherals, exhale, staying in the peripherals. Inhale one more time, back to convergence. Exhale, focus on the thumb. Inhale into the peripherals. Exhale, stay in the peripherals. Now this is simple. This is like a Kundalini Kriyas. Yeah, I mean, it's, and that's the thing is like, Kundalini Kriyas, they have a lot of things in common with like what we're doing here is like the sensory mechanics type stuff. Um, but this is great for splenic. This is, I mean, this is great for all human beings, but the idea is that being able to harden and soften your focus is going to be is that's the like the crux that you're able to see yourself being triggered versus like being triggered, or see yourself being activated versus being triggered, right? I'm a manifester with splenic authority and struggle a lot with the not self theme anger. So, this exercise that I did, whenever you feel angry, do this exercise. And again, this is just an experiment. This may not be like the silver bullet exercise, but I have a silver bullet exercise. It involves that one. It's specifically that one. It's this one, which you guys might have seen before, right? And then you can also do it keeping your head still. And this is part of the other part of the sequence. So I'm trying to like look like I'm looking over my right shoulder. Swallow. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, eyes to the left. Swallow. Notice how my neck gets bigger. You guys probably can't see that. When I swallow, exhale, come back to the center. Inhale, eyes to the right. A big key is swallowing, because what we're looking to do is, if we can make this bigger and deeper, extend this way and extend out this way, we can create what's called tolerance. We can create the ability to tolerate the world around us and also tolerate ourselves, because there's times, I'm sure you have times when you're like upset at yourself that you're feeling some type of way, right? How do you get around that? Well, you learn how to tolerate yourself, you learn how to see things clearer. And I know all this because I've been trained as a martial artist, so part of it is that, but then also I worked with a specialist, like a biomechanic specialist. His name is Pasha. And I love this concept of relaxing our focus. I feel our culture breeds hyperfixation big time. Exactly. And so, part of it is like learning how to relax. And I think Andre, you were posting about that today in your discipline series here, of like the discipline of relaxing. Like, so many times when you're feeling burnt out and destroyed during the day, like one of the best things that you can do for yourself is just literally lay down for 10 minutes or 5 minutes and just allow your energy to kind of like woof, woof, woof. Just like if you picture your body like buckets, they're all filling up, right? And when you lay down, the buckets are now on their side. The water can drain out and it can be empty again so that you can fill up again. Buckets are meant to carry water. But what happens? Liquids. Buckets are meant to carry liquids. But what happens when you have one liquid in a bucket for too long? It gets stagnant, and then eventually it starts to erode at the integrity of the bucket, of the container. And so, especially when you have undefined centers, those are like buckets, right? And what you want to do every now and then, and I say every 90 minutes, I lay down every 90 minutes, right? And it's not like I have a timer, although there was a point in my life when I did have a timer, and I would set a timer, and I would, every 90 minutes it would go off and I would just lay down, right? Nowadays, I don't really do that. I just have this kind of like natural rhythm where it's like, oh, it's been an hour, maybe 2 hours. I've been working. I need to lay down, right? Yes. So often I have to retreat and be by myself when things slash people feel like so much. And this, again, this is a natural thing that the 8 hour work week, doesn't necessarily there's not room for that in a quote unquote working environment. And that's why we really are so blessed living in America, because we have the ability to create our own environments with a level of freedom that very few people get to actually experience. And this is something that, man, this stuff smells so good. Holy crap, I wish you guys could smell it. It's got like a cedary but also frankincense vibe. It's so good. I wish I don't have I mean, I do have it. If you look up Halo hair oil, I think you can find it. I've been trying to get my sister to put it on, or my friend to put it on TikTok Shop, so you guys can buy it through TikTok Shop. And eventually, I will do that, or hopefully, she will do that because yeah, I would definitely share this. This is actually the first time that I'm using this oil, so this is like a real. This is like a real. I'm actually really stoked on this. But anyway, say squirrel cologne exactly, cedar and franken, all the saps and stuff. No, this smells so good. Oh, my lady's gonna love this. Anyway, we're at 30K right now, guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're enjoying this, keep liking it. If you feel like sharing it, please share this. Like, what's so cool about this whole thing, right? Ask Pudding to say blue. Wait, what? Once upon a time, ask Pudding to say blue hearts. Anyway, one of my favorite things about TikTok is like the more this number goes up, again, it's like we're at the top 10% of League C5, which we were not that in a while. Yeah. So this is all I have, guys, but I'll post a video about it soon. Um, just if you don't mind being patient with me, I'll post a video about it soon because this is actually a really phenomenal hair oil. I've literally, like I said, this is my first time using it. But I can tell the difference. And usually when I put products on my body, I can tell immediately the quality of them based off of the quality of the environment or the products that I put on before. So anyway. So you are so amazing. No matter what I'm doing, when I see you, I feel calm immediately. Oh, bless you. Well, I appreciate you, and thank you for that reflection. I feel calm most of the time, and I attribute that a lot partially to understanding energetics and human design, but then also in the training that I've done with my nervous system, and specifically the combative training that I've done. Um, Today was the worst day of my life. My ex got hit by a bus and I lost my job as a bus driver. Is this a joke? Wait, is this a joke? I send prayers and love to your ex. This is a joke. Okay, I think it's a joke. It's a joke, right? What does this pudding say blue, please? I don't get it. You're kind and awesome. Yeah, much love, guys. So anyway, that's kind of a funny joke. Um, and I lost my job as a bus driver. I feel like I've heard that one before, but it's still funny. Like, got it. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny. Like if Jenny validates it, I'm good. Got it. Are we starting to get hit by bots, guys? Is that what's going on? Or we just have a bunch of bots in here now? Which is funny because that's some things that eventually I'm gonna have to figure out how to handle that, like spam bots and that kind of stuff. Which anyway, can I hire the bus driver? Oh my god, you got him going now. You got him going now. Well, it's okay. So let me tell you guys a story about it's actually a long story. I don't want to tell it. Maybe I'll tell it later. Um, but the funny thing about revenge and exes is like you've all heard, I'm sure, like the best revenge is success, right? Um, and it's like that's true, but really the best revenge is like um happiness and success, right? Because and that whole like the best revenge is success quote is very like very Western. Is like, oh, be super successful, but it's like no, it's like just do the things that you wanted to do. And that's not even the best. The reason it's the best revenge is because you're not actually exacting any revenge on the person, right? You're not hurting the other person. You're not having to do anything to the other person to feel good about yourself. And this reminds me of another quote, which is like, it's the fool who thinks that when his neighbor breaks his leg that he will run faster. Right? Like if your neighbor breaks their leg, that doesn't make you any faster. Sure, you can outrun them, but it doesn't make you inherently faster. And this is the magic of human design, right? Because it doesn't matter if someone knows more about human design than you. It's really about who is making decisions with strategy and authority in mind, who is navigating with the most amount of self-awareness, and not as a form of competition against, oh, I have more self-awareness than you, but am I more aware of myself than I was yesterday? right? And one of the biggest points of self-awareness that, especially in my sessions, I confront this a lot with people in my sessions. One of the biggest points of self-awareness is that are hard to, very, very hard pills to swallow is accepting that, oh, I'm not as aware of this as I thought I was. I'm not as aware of this as I thought I was. And that doesn't feel good. But there's a flavor that you will begin to learn how to sniff and smell and taste and feel in your body, similar to like a taste of like if you drink a lot of wine, right? You can tell the difference between a quality wine and a shitty wine, right? Same thing with food, same thing with lovemaking, same thing with the relationships, whatever it is, you will eventually develop a taste for, ah, yes, this is me manifesting my inner authority, and ah, yes, this is me manifesting something other than my inner authority. And don't get me wrong, it's not like we are solely here to manifest our inner authority. This is where the beauty of human design really unfolds, because sometimes I'm not working to manifest my inner authority. Sometimes I'm working to help manifest somebody else's inner authority in the world, because I think the world would benefit from that. Like, I have a buddy, his name is Spencer Sherman. Yellow Feather Chronicles, I think, is his IG tag. And he is an incredible musician and amazing vocalist, super great dude. And I have been investing quite a bit of energy, time into recording him and getting some of his music, because I want his music to be out there. Now, that's not necessarily my inner authority. That is Spencer's music and Spencer's song. But by way of helping him manifest that, it doesn't conflict with my inner authority. And so this is where you can do it. Is it's okay to help other people manifest their inner authority, as long as it doesn't conflict with your inner authority. And this, unfortunately, is what you see in a lot of relationships, where you have one person like using the other person like a battery, and it sucks. And if you've been the battery, it sucks. And if you're using a person as a battery, that also sucks for you as well, because you don't ever feel like you're actually getting love. You're not actually getting the thing that we all crave, which is connection, right? You're getting the utility without the connection, right? Which is like, oh, I'm using batteries, but I'm not able to appreciate what the power is doing. I'm just mindlessly using it. And so again, this is where we can really raise the voltage of our consciousness using human design, is really understanding and being able to discern, when am I manifesting my inner authority and when am I manifesting something else, right? That's one of the sensitivities, or one of the flavors that you want to become familiar with, is the flavor of your inner authority and the flavor of other people's inner authority and the flavor of an external authority, right? So that's a huge piece of human design. And in a lot of ways, that's, I say, in human design, you stand on 2 feet. You stand on your strategy and you stand on your authority. There's more to the human body than the 2 feet, but without the 2 feet, you're not going anywhere. Strategy and authority are the most simple, fundamental things. And again, it brings it down to, how are you going to make this next decision? Are you going to make this next decision with your strategy and authority mind or not? And that's it. That's really all there is with human design. So for anyone that feels overwhelmed with human design, again, that's pretty natural, right? Like, if you were to go and try and learn Japanese in a weekend, and you're like, man, I'm overwhelmed, people would be like, yeah, it's a whole nother language. Human design is exactly like that. It's a whole nother language. Now, if you wanted to go to Japan and specifically study Reiki, you might want to learn, hey, where are the Reiki practitioners, or where are the good Reiki practitioners, or where can I find Reiki? Human design helps us live better lives. How do you live a better life? You make better decisions. How do you make better decisions? You follow your internal authority and your strategy. That's it. The internal authority helps you to contrast what is correct for me and what is correct for the environment. The sweet spot is when you find something that is correct for you and correct for the environment, and you bringing your internal authority online enriches the environment. That's the sweet spot. And you use your strategy to find that. So I'm a projector that finds it hard to follow the strategy, but I find I'm happier when I do. So Chelsea, like, that's fine. Keep doing that. And keep remember to focus on your results, right? Because it's like your mind will look at everybody else and it will like cut away all of the parts where this person is miserable because they're having to do a bunch of things. But the moment of success, like the shimmering moment of success, you might over glorify that. Like the mind has a really good way of like making you right as opposed to actually like computing the facts sometimes. And so, you know, when it comes to following your strategy, it's challenging good. As long as you're seeing the results of following your strategy, it doesn't matter how challenging it is, because what you're overcoming is your own inertia, your own normalized way of being that is not natural. And the more that you practice your natural strategy, the more you will it will get easier, is what I'm saying, or rather you will get better. So I started learning about human design almost 2 years ago, and I feel like I'm just understanding it. I started learning human design 9, 10 years ago. And I feel like I just figured out how to like actually live like a reflector like 3 years ago. So you could say for me, I studied human design for 6 years, seeing results like immediately. But in terms of my brain understanding it and my body actually like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing now. Okay, great. That takes a long time. I'm cutting my hair because I feel stores of energy. I don't want it around. Does this make sense to you? 100%. Um, I also believe that, in terms of our hair and our nails, they are quite literally like dead cells that are being pushed out through our hands, our feet, and our head. And it's funny because we are in a way a five-pointed star, and guess where our aura emits from? Hands, feet, and head, right? Or it comes out through the top of our head, down, loop it around. It's a toroidal field. It's like this, kind of like an apple. We would be the core, but the meat of the apple, the crust or the skin of the apple, that's all of our aura. And so cutting your hair makes a lot of sense because this is like an antenna. I don't just have long hair because it's nice. It looks cool. I have it because number one, there's a relationship. Like obviously I was brushing my hair. Like I have to keep my hair healthy. And then also it's like an antenna, right? Like I feel I can feel things with my hair. So anyway, there's definitely a difference when I inform people as a manifestor versus when I don't, right? And so again, this is the thing, is like you may have people in your life that are living their not self. Okay, so they're living in an internal conflict with themselves. When you start to live your signature and you start to follow your strategy, the people that are living their not self, they're not going to like you, right? They're going to be like, why are you controlling me? Why are you doing all this stuff? Blah, blah, blah. But it's because they are always looking for something else to blame than themselves. Be aware of this, because I feel like there's probably a lot of people who start to live out their strategy of authority. And there are people in their lives who are like, I don't like that you're doing that. And then the person says, oh, well, I'll stop doing that, right? Because I want to keep you in my life. And unfortunately, that's we don't you don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Oh, can we add a live goal? I just saw this right here. What is that? Okay, anyway, I had to get used to being the villain in people's stories. Oh my God, Emily, that's so good. Exactly. How do you find your strategy? I'm a 5-1 emotional manifesting generator. So, Summer, your strategy is going to be wait to respond. Um, oh, we hit the. Okay, that's pretty cool. I probably should set a higher goal because we hit the we hit the goal already. Bill Gates, thank you. Thank you. Okay, set up new goal, I guess. How do I manage goal? So many things that I'm like, ooh, ooh, that's a cute one. Let's get one of those. I'm still learning so much about TikTok, guys. It's really funny. I feel like part of that older generation that doesn't really get it sometimes. Put a more challenging one. Rose is pretty easy. I know. I think I put a more challenging one. You have to be careful about what you're informing people about. It's tricky, get lost all the time when I inform. It just creates so many more problems. Yeah, so one thing about informing and a strategy in general, well, look at that. We reached another freaking goal. My gosh. Um, anyway, that is definitely a rooster cawing in the background. Um, he's a legend. I think that might be Goldie, but it might be another one. All right, so I guess I have to like make like a harder goal or something. Subscriptions. Yeah, let's do that. I think I think I did. Oh no, no, no. Gotta set up a new goal. Um, but anyway, I was talking about let's see, over here on YouTube for summer, the manifesting generator strategy. Let's see. All right, let's see. What is oh, let's go with the Phoenix. All right, let's see you guys. Let's see you guys with that one. Oh, there's a songbird. It was a lot more challenging, but I couldn't resist. So I live in the jungle, and this is one thing that is really cool about human design as well that not a lot of people know about. Human design tells you what environment and what digestion to have. So I have low sound digestion, which is literally just like having low sounds, like not a lot going on while I'm eating, and then at wide valleys, which is literally wide valleys. So I literally live in a wide valley in the jungle, right? There's a river that sometimes flows in the valley, and I've never found more peace in my life than living here on Maui. Now Maui is beautiful, but I reckon and I wager that if I lived in more environments like this, I would find a lot more I would find the same level of success and peace and magic that I have here. But yeah, so okay. What are we talking about right there? Sorry, my mother-in-law just called me. Yeah, might have frozen. I had a incoming call that I rebutted. Yeah. I also again I do live in the jungle, so my Wi-Fi is sometimes like really terrible, really terrible. Um, you are making ASMR videos with the typing. I know, right? I'm just over here, just which is funny because in one of my past lives, and I don't mean like an actual past life, I mean like 5 or 6 years ago, I was a sound healer, and I guess I still am a sound healer. Like I have a, you guys want to hear some flute? I will play some jazz flute for you. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this, but I play a lot of instruments actually. I love music. I think music is one of the great healers of the world, and in a lot of ways, human design can be related to music because you're just an instrument that's out of tune is really what it is. Um, it's there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that maybe you're reading the sheet music of a tuba and you're a trombone, right? Hold on a second. It's been a minute. Okay, hold on. Okay, 1 second, guys. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Third line. That's my catchphrase. Like anytime I mess up on something, I'm and I gas myself up because as a third line, right? A lot of you guys know who are third lines. Um, it's all about trial and error. It's all about learning from the mistakes. This is I think it's an F sharp. I think this note is F sharp. Anyway, um, sound healing and human design are very similar because what sound healing does and the way sound healing works is like these instruments have a certain frequency. Like this note right here is lower than that's faster. And what's cool about life is that you don't just want the same note over and over again. That's what makes this and the human voice different. Like I can go na 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 and na 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 na, and this can only do this. I can go outside that. As human beings, we can do whatever we want. But the benefit of an instrument is that it's not going to make a note really. I mean, it can make notes that are out of tune with its scale, but if it's played properly, it's not. And a human being is a similar way, is they can make notes that are outside of their scale, but if it's they're played properly, they're not going to do it as often. The more often they play their scale, the more comfortable they're going to be with the scale, the more accepting they're going to be with it, and it's literally practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. So anyway, another interesting analogy is like with a guitar. Sometimes your instrument is just out of tune, right? Like sometimes with human design, what you see, oftentimes what people see in human design is which string is out of tune. Where am I putting too much energy? And most people are putting too much energy in their head and ajna. What should I be doing? Or what's the right thing to do? Versus what is the correct thing for me to do? And what do I want to do? Because I refuse to believe that we came into this life to just be in service to other people. And I genuinely believe that those who are in service to other people, but not in service to themselves, are unfortunately not only lying to themselves, but this is where you get a lot of like shadow teacher guru type energy things. Because for me, like, yes, I understand that there's a big need for more selflessness, but I think that needs to be understood from a point of selfishness. Like if you can't help yourself, how are you supposed to help me? I'm not I don't want to accept help as much from somebody who doesn't know how to help themselves. To me it doesn't make sense, and especially to champion them. Like you think about how many relationship coaches out there have never been in a successful relationship for more than a year and a half. Why are you a relationship coach? That's one of the things I'm curious about. And also, they might have information that you could use that they don't follow themselves that you could use successfully. So there is that. But for me, it is very much so about championing the people that I see that are actually getting the results with their own medicine. And that's kind of just my standard, right? Like I can empathize with people who don't live that way, but I've lived that way before where I don't have that high of a standard, and unfortunately it doesn't work out as well for me. So anyway, projectors aren't very good at seeing ourselves. True that. And again, for instance, so like to put the example just to play with it, Julia, um, like for instance, a projector that uses that as a reason to why they're not, let's say, in a relationship that they want. Right? Number one, a relationship is not a marker of success, right? Um, and it is. And so, for a projector that's like, I'm not in a relationship because like I haven't found the right one, that's fine. That again, it's not like I'm not going to work with you because you're not in a happy relationship. But when it comes to relationship advice, again, I'm going to be suspicious of somebody that is not in a successful relationship or hasn't had successful relationships. And in a lot of ways, yes, you can only take people as far as you are. Yeah, you could, and that's the thing is like you can only take people as far as you've taken yourself. And this is one thing about plant medicine and very expansive healing sessions, etc., transformational festivals, retreats, etc., is when someone else takes you there, that's not the same as you taking yourself there, right? Like you have to be able to take yourself there without drugs, without any of that stuff. Because if you can't take yourself there, then unfortunately you're not going to be able to competently lead people to that space. And that's why someone is able to take you somewhere is because they've taken themselves there. Most of the times, it can be faked. It actually is faked a lot. But anyway, um, how can we heal our root chakra? So, root in human design is all about stress. It's connected to the adrenals. It's about pace. It's about momentum. It's about rushing things. It's about being late, right? Like it's like, for instance, and one of the reasons I love the root is because it's so simple. You know when you got to poop. You know what I mean? You know when you got to poop and you feel the pressure that you have to poop. You know what it feels like to hold your poop, and when you really got to poop, and you're like, nope, I'm not near a bathroom. I can't poop here. You know what that feels like? That's a great example of how to heal your root, right? Because the way that you heal your root, whether it's defined or undefined, is you have to tap into what poop is moving through you. What is the pressure that you actually feel? What is the stress that you actually feel in your body? Now, if you have an undefined root, you might feel the stress of other people in your bodies, which means that you have to like basically remove yourself from those people to tap into what stresses you actually feel in your body. But once you feel those stresses, then you deal with them. You go poop. You handle them. Right? Like every morning I wake up, I have the pressure of making content because this is my liveliness. This is how I pay for our rent. This is how I pay for our food. This is how I pay for us to do things together as a family is by making content. If I don't do that with the stress that I feel, because root pressure is felt as stress, then I get more stressed out. It's like now there's a bunch of shit that I have to do that I didn't do yesterday that now I got to do today. And that will corrode at you over time. And here's the thing, it's not always like that. Sometimes it's like I feel stressed out when I'm like not making a lot of music, right? And I will feel stressed out that I'm not making a lot of music because I'm feeling like, "Oh, I really want to be making music." And then I build something up in my head like, oh man, I need to like write a song or do this. And then I'll just pick up the guitar and start playing the guitar and like it'll all feel better. And I'm like, oh, I took the feeling of I need to poop and I made it, oh my God, is this the right time to poop? What does me pooping say about myself? Are other people going to think I'm weird for needing to poop right now? Like the way you heal your root is by tending to the roots. When you need to shit, take a shit. Anyway, I want to play guitar now. I'm better at guitar than I am flute, guys. Just admittedly. Um, but yeah, that's it. And here's another thing too: is that you don't necessarily need to. And I do sometimes feel a strong resistance to it because literally sometimes me taking care of the stress and the things in my life that I need to take care of, it goes against whatever somebody else wants. Right? Like for instance, if someone wants me to get in a car and go to a party with them, but I gotta poop, what am I gonna do? Sit in the car and like crush my guts and keep myself from pooping, or am I gonna poop and risk this person? I might even just be like, hey, look, I'll drive myself there, or dude, I won't even go to the party. If you're really not willing to wait for me to go poop and take care of this stuff, I'm not gonna just go, right? So when it comes to personal resistance, like I have resistance to poop a lot of the times for me, especially because I have an undefined root, it's because me handling my stress prevents me from doing somebody else wants me to do. Another variation of that is if you have a defined route, one of the reasons you might feel resistance to it is quite simply that you don't. This is going to sound so fucked up. Um, you don't want to find out what happens when you start taking responsibility for yourself. Like, you like it when people take care of you, you like it when people tell you what to do. And when you start to handle your own stress, those people ultimately, like, you stop relying on those people. It's like you mature and you don't need mommy and daddy anymore. That's hard. I get why there's resistance to maturing. There's supposed to be resistance to maturing. And also, it's like if you look at kids that grow up in, like, you know, with nannies and like perfect safe neighborhood, and you look at the kids same age as them, but you look at the inner city kids that live walking down the streets and there's gunfights and there's drugs and there's all this stress, those kids look older. They mature faster because they're exposed to stress, whereas the kid with the super safe upbringing isn't as exposed to as much stress. There's not as much maturity happening as fast. One is not better than the other. But at some point, especially in your teens and 20s, I mean, there are some people in their 30s that are still looking for somebody else. They're outsourcing their stress management to somebody else. Like, at some point, you have to learn how to manage your own stress. And it's like, people talked about, like, time management. You can't manage time. Everyone gets 24 hours. What you can manage are the activities and how you make your decisions. So make sure that the activities align with your internal authority, and if you need to poop, poop, follow your strategy. That's that. Oh, I'm gonna turn on the special sauce for you guys. You guys want a song? I think I have to start sprinkling in playing music with dropping these codes. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. But solid question. Like, one thing I also want to say about healing is we are already healing. Like, if you're like, how do I heal this thing? You are already in the vibration of healing. What you need to really focus on, instead of how do I heal this, is more so, how do I not interrupt this? How do I not interrupt the healing that's happening? Because a lot of the times, especially in the West, we're so obsessed with healing that we will actually, like, mess up the healing process because we're trying to heal it. It's the weirdest thing. How do I not then? Yeah. Great question. Jenny, you're the best. I got 6 grand. How do I join your farm? I don't have a farm yet, unfortunately. But I'm hoping that at some point I will have a farm. I mean, I guess I do have. It's not like my farm. You know what I'm saying? I rent. I rent. I would love to own land, but I rent right now. Um, and next year is my year to make that happen. So we'll have a trading account with 100K. That's still good. That is still good, my friend. That is still good. So anyway, I think actually it's probably time now for me to end this live. This has been wonderful, and I wouldn't care about running the world if it's run by good people. Yeah, I totally feel you. Which is, again, this whole like, and I think with this live, I started off talking about 2027 and this global cross shift, like moving from the cross of planning into the cross. Oh, that's kind of cool. You guys see that? Whoa, wow. 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 Whoa. Light. Um, See, as an open spleen, am I literally born with no fear? So there are other. That's a hilarious question. Not necessarily, because you can feel the fears of everybody else around you, which you can mistake for your own fears. It's not there's gates other than the spleen that have fear. Like a lot of the centers or a lot of the gates in the mind and emotions can be experienced as fears. Like for instance, 22 in the solar plexus can be the fear that there's nothing worth listening to, or that people are not listening to you. So it doesn't necessarily mean that. What it would mean though, with the completely open spleen though, right, is that you are a being that is going to be challenged, and you're challenged because your discernment for vitality in your own body and vitality in others body has this, like, you can develop that, in my opinion, a lot further than most people. That's, I think the open centers are really, those are the places where if people are going to be developing superpowers, it's going to be the people with the open centers that are going to be developing because of the challenges that they're exposed to. You understand? Like as someone with an open spleen, it's going to be very challenging for you to discern, oh, this is good for me, um, and this is not good for me, right? I would imagine. Um, so in doing that, you have to be extra mindful about the things you do, considering why you do them. And you're not going to necessarily be able to trust that initial splenic hit, because again, it might come from somebody else. But anyway, I was talking about 2027 and how it's like this window is closing. And I mean, the fact that we can get 40,000 likes in October, when in August or September we were getting maybe 20,000 likes at the max, going for like 2 hours. This is progress to me, and this is the kind of progress that I like to see. Is I like it when it's slow. I like it when it's organic. I like it when it's just like it's freaking real, And you guys have been super real. Hello, JNet. Um, Jenny, of course, all of you that have been in here, throwing gifts and throwing likes at me and pumping this number up. We're like literally at almost at 40K right here. We're training to do battle on the digital, on the digital war front, guys. And you have chosen me among some of the other people that you support with your attention. You've chosen us to be your champions. And I want you to know that means a lot to me, because I'm not doing this for some ego trip. I don't need my face plastered all over TikTok. I just want something that's more substantial than, the dudes like, oh yeah, we gonna crush him, chat. We gonna crush him, or the ASMR stuff. Okay, so that's the quote unquote evil that we're battling, and it's not inherently evil, but there's not I don't see anything like virtuous about it. And the fact that I don't see anything virtuous about it is it's something there's something in my opinion that's wrong with that. Because when we are not championing things that are virtuous, we are allowing degeneracy to become the new standard. Unfortunately, that will kill us all. That will kill our culture, that will kill our country, that will kill our families, that will just kill all of it. So you guys are, in a way, like part of this light warrior army that I know you guys are stoked to be a part of it because maybe no one has ever told you before, but you are a part of this light warrior army. And we do battle differently than what you see in the movies, but make no mistake, we are battling evil. We are battling evil out here, the evil of ignorance, the evil of um, whatever the opposite of compassion is, hate, I guess. The evil of how do you say, not being accepting of what is, right? So we are here doing that battle, and you guys are a part of that army. And so just want to say thank you. And this was an epic live. We're going to be back on Wednesday and Friday this week. Okay. Wednesday and Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, on TikTok and YouTube. So if you are planning on joining us again, make sure that you follow. If you haven't already generated your body graph, you can do so via the website reikimarco.com. I have reports. I've got the best app in the world, Neutrino Design, at a 25% discount. I've got one-on-one sessions, all kinds of stuffs. And Jess, when looking up your aura, do you use middle name? So your name does not matter. Just heads up, your name doesn't matter. Yeah. But yeah, you just plug in your birth information on my website. It'll pop it out. I recommend getting a report just because like the most affordable one is $20, which is just $20, but it'll like tell you everything. Like it'll give you everything you need. And then if you need more help on top of that, again, I offer one-on-one sessions. There's also the Reiki report, which will give you like a little bit more. It gives you like an introduction to human design and also techniques to like embody your human design. That one's $35. Again, still super affordable. Yeehaw, baby. Is what I'm talking about. So, much love to you guys. That'll do it for me here today. Go check out and see if Tangi or Cody is live because I think they usually go live around this time as well. Go send them some love if you feel inspired. The app, I'll talk about this real quick, Mary. The app doesn't have sidereal because sidereal human design it's not good. Do not get into the confusion of sidereal human design. So the sidereal calendar, really quick, and Vedic astrology, right? They are accounting for the wobble of the planet. All right. But unfortunately, the information over the span of a $26,000 oh, Jenny's going live later too? Okay, well, you guys have to holler at Jenny then too. Um, but in accounting for the wobble, they take what is a normally like 200-year cycle and they turn it into like a 26,000-year cycle, right? And so basically what we're doing with sidereal modifications on human design body graphs is we're taking a body graph that's relevant for a being that lives 100 years, and we're trying to make it relevant for a being that lives 26,000 years, which is not relevant because no one lives 26,000 years. And so the idea that sidereal astrology is like, for instance, the design of your soul, but that normal tropical human design is the design of your body and your earth body, to me doesn't make sense because the soul doesn't have a body. So why does it need a body graph if the soul has not manifested yet? Use your body graph that's given to you either by way of the Jovian archive, which are using the same calculations that we use in neutrino design. My body graph works as well. Most of the human design things out there are using the right calculations. But yeah, sidereal, and this is just my opinion. If you have a differing opinion, again, everyone's welcome to their own opinion. But I think sidereal modification, if you look at how you say cosmic human design was developed, it was developed by a guy whose girlfriend was a projector, but they thought she was a reflector. And so it's like he invented an entirely new bastardized human design system so that his girlfriend could be a reflector. I don't really buy it. Anyway, majority of the points, if you actually want some more like scientific points on how, like, why sidereal is garbage, look up Jonah Dempsey. Jonah Dempsey, sidereal human design. Just look that up on YouTube, and you'll see just like a very like humble looking, white dude with blonde hair. But the way that he talks about it, it's like super important. It's super important to yeah. Oh my God, I'm a reflector, but I like seeing my other charts and they resonate with me. Probably because you're a reflector like me. Because I looked at my sidereal human design, and it put me as an emotional manifesting generator. And I was like, yeah, I could see that. But then also, it's like, again, I listened to Jonah's video. I highly recommend you do that. Um, and I was like, oh yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's like the guy that created cosmic human design doesn't understand the astrology of it all, and why we use tropical to begin with. Um, and also that human design already incorporates sidereal astrology in the global crosses. So it's not like Ra forgot about sidereal human design. He's just incorporating it on a civilization level as opposed to a personal level, to which tropical astrology um, is going to give us those correct charts. So anyway, go watch the video because it's an epic video, and there's a lot of points that I didn't touch on here. I think he does like 11 points as to why cosmic human design is trash. Um, and anyway, um, made sense to me. I also like, again, really resonate with the origins and the pieces of human design. Like even with quantum human design, I love that Karen Curry Parker has added her mutation and made it more digestible for the people that need it. I don't like it because I don't want it to be fluffier. I don't need a system of differentiation and the science of differentiation and surgical precision to be softer and nicer, right? And not to like pigeonhole quantum human design and saying that that's all it is, but when I look at the names of things and the way that she calls them gifts, it's like, to me it's like she just made it more soft and digestible, which is fine, but I'll take it, raw. I'll take it raw. And again, the I'll take it raw. Oh yeah, that's this so dumb. Oh my god. Um yeah. So and again, I don't want to say Karen Curry Parker is not good, but it is so rainbow and butterflies. Yes, Jenny, you're correct. And that's great for the people that were looking for rainbows and butterflies. For me and for probably you who are tuning into me, that's probably not what you're about, rainbow and butterflies. You're like, okay, what things do I need to accept about myself? Where do I need to start experimenting so that I can actually learn to love myself and see myself? Because yeah, the rainbows and butterflies things is again, it's for a certain type of person, and it's good because she's again, she's still talking about human design, and she's still leading people to there. I don't think that it's impossible for someone to reach the places that I can reach with human design, with quantum human design. I just personally, I think I'm going to get there faster, because instead of like having to move through your biases, I'm going to let the people that are already moved through their biases and that want to be looked at by a pair of expert eyes, um, bet more, like I'm going to look for those people, or I'm going to work with those people. And so I was just at the KCP conference. You're right, it's more digestible to middle-aged women, right? Some of them, and some of y'all middle-aged women are like absolute savages, and you're like, this is too fluffy for me, and so I need something better. So which the ultimate, and I'll tell you, the ultimate goal of me sharing human design is really to get people obsessed with um, their natural way of being, which on a physical level translates to a product that I call the archive. The archive is basically my library of walking, running, and throwing biomechanics, soft tissue, removing trauma through the body, you being using like lacrosse balls and trigger point therapy, and sensory mechanics, which was the making the neck wider, making the eyes bigger, tapping into peripheral vision, etc. That's my ultimate goal, and it is my hope that everybody eventually joins that community. It's an $11 a month subscription. There's courses in there. There's a whole discussion page. It's very small right now. We've had the archive up as a course. We have about 100 people in there on a different platform. This is a new platform that we created. about, I would say, like a month ago or so. And again, it's just like, like I said, I like things slow. I like things to move at an organic pace. And so my nickname in high school was Fluffy. Fluffy, I am not. What's too fluffy for middle-aged women? Oh yeah. I mean, just go to her website and look at it. She changes the names of the types, some of the gates she changes the name of, which again is fine. It's just not. I think it's like, you got a sword and you've made it into a training sword, but it's like it's a sword. It's supposed to cut. You need to know what happens when you get cut. So anyway, much love to you guys. Hopefully, I'll see you here Wednesday or Friday. We're going live again Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, uh, 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Hopefully, we'll see you guys there. If you're not already following, make sure you follow. Turn the notifications on so you can see when we go live. And much love to y'all. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.